Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the XP Extra Player podcast. Today we are going to go over lots of things like the Warhorse Kingdom Come Deliverance sequel and the Lord of the Rings game they're working on. CI Games announces the end of their publishing deal with Epic, so it will no longer be an Epic Game Store exclusive on PC. The PlayStation account security issues and so much more. Today we actually have a guest joining us. Our guest is Wiz. What's going on, man?
Hey guys, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And then we got Matt Ghosty from Life is a Game magazine. What's going on?
What's up, everybody? Coming to you live from Los Santos.
And I am Fume Gaming 95. So let's just jump right into it. We're going to jump right into the Warhorse Kingdom Come sequel and Lord of the Rings. So on Wednesday of this past week, Warhorse Games confirmed they are working on 2 projects. A new Kingdom Come game. They didn't say it was Deliverance. Henry's story is probably over. And a Lord of the Rings game. So it's described as an open world Middle-earth RPG. I don't know what that could be. It could be something pretty crazy. Like, I don't know the scope that it's going to be. Maddie, what are you thinking about this? Have you played the Kingdom Come games?
I haven't played them. I've seen a fair amount of gameplay, especially when KCD2 was up for a bunch of awards last year. I think the thing that's most interesting to me, number one, I think Warhorse does a really good job of being true to their source material. And I think that was one of the strong points that people talked about a lot, is how they felt it was a very honest rendition of medieval England. And they didn't embellish too many things, and they really tried to ground it in what it was. And then secondarily, I think I'm very curious to see what they do when it comes to Middle Earth. Are they going to do something that's much more grounded like KCD? Like, are you going to be just a regular knight or, a regular hobbit or whatever it could be? Or is it going to be something much more fantastical? Are they really going to get out of their comfort zone? Kind of do a CD Projekt Red, Witcher 3 to Cyberpunk, where it's like just a completely different style of game. And really just go balls to the wall and go all out. That's what I'm curious to see.
Yeah, I'm hoping that for Lord of the Rings, at least, they kind of ditch their more realistic combat, because I don't know how it's going to fit with all the big monsters and, all the crazy lore and stuff that can come with that. What are you thinking about that, Wiz? What are you thinking about what Warhorse is doing right now?
So I've played Kingdom Come. I've played the first one, and I've put about 30 hours into the second one. So as far as that gameplay translating into the Lord of the Rings, I'm not too sure. I think I'm on like the same wavelengths of you guys. I don't really want it to be that grounded, especially I like the whole, magic systems. I've never watched Lord of the Rings, but I know there's magic and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like it to be more of like a power fantasy.
Yes.
So similar to what, Matt said, the like transition from The Witcher to Cyberpunk, where you can see the movement, the change in movements, the power dynamics, the RPG mechanics changed as well. I think I'd like it to be more like that. I think maybe something akin to Skyrim. I've not played Skyrim, but I've seen the gameplay of like Avowed. You know how they do the casting. Yeah, no, I've never played Skyrim.
Dude, you gotta play Skyrim. You gotta play Skyrim. It is great. Yeah. It is just one big grand adventure.
Yeah, and I'll give it a go. I see it on sale a lot, so I'll pick it up. But I think.
Did you pick up the Oblivion remaster, the Elder Scrolls one that came out last year, or have you not played any Elder Scrolls?
No, I haven't played that either.
Oh, dude! No. If you were to start with an Elder Scrolls game, I would say you should definitely start with Skyrim, because that's what they put the most love into, and like the leveling up and systems and all that are kind of more streamlined and make more sense than Oblivion. But they fixed a lot of the issues with Oblivion in the remaster. I don't remember what a lot of the issues were back in the day, because it was like 20 years ago. But there was issues with leveling and like enemy loot and things like that. But yeah, honestly, definitely try to pick up Skyrim at some point.
So would you say that Skyrim, it holds up quite well? Like, it hasn't really aged poorly?
Yeah, so I played Skyrim again, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, and it held up great. Especially if you can get onto like PC and install some mods. I think on console you can use the Bethesda creation system that they have to put some player mods in there too, which can, update some graphics and add more fully, make it look modern, update some of the mechanics in the game to make them not as frustrating to deal with. Like the blacksmithing system can sometimes be very grindy.
Sweet. I'll look into it.
But
Thank you.
yeah, definitely check that out. So for Lord of the Rings, I honestly don't want it to be anything like KCD in a way. I want them to overhaul the combat, kind of make it more like Skyrim or Elder Scrolls. Any one of them to just because it just doesn't work if you're fighting a big monster. I feel like the directional fighting won't feel as good,
Mm.
especially if you got like a big hand coming down or like a massive hammer. I don't know. Maybe they'll make it work, but I just don't see that being fun when you're fighting all these big, crazy kind of monsters and stuff like that. When it comes to the Kingdom Come sequel, what are you gonna say? Do you know something
Yeah,
I don't?
I think I'm gonna give a shout here to Blood of Dawnwalker. The most
Okay.
interesting thing that I've seen is they actually took the directional blocking scheme from Kingdom Come, and it looks like they're implementing into that where directional combat is important in a third-person fantasy RPG. And I'm kind of curious to see if that game feels really good and maintains that sense of player control. Because I think one of the things that KCD does a good job with is making first person fantasy combat not feel boring. Like, I think we can all relate to
Yes.
fantasy combat just kind of devolving into like hit an enemy until it's dead. Like, I just hold down right trigger or I
Yeah.
hold down left click until it's dead. And KCD does a good job of making it feel engaging. And I'm hoping that Blood of Dawnwalker does something similar in a different vein. And then maybe other fantasy RPG series will see that and say, oh, look, we can actually take the KCD combat and its, interesting systems, but make it more flashy and utilize it in a more um, power fantasy type of way. So that's where I can
Yeah.
see the two kind of meshing in that way, I guess.
Yeah, my main issue with KCD combat is, at least for one, since I haven't played two yet, is when you get like 3+ enemies on screen, it kind of breaks the combat. It's realistic, if you got 3 guys coming at you in real life, they're gonna beat your ass. You're gonna die. But it kind of takes away the fun of it for me. So I was just constantly using Master Strike, which is kind of like a parry, and
Yeah.
just doing that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And just doing that
Mm.
to everyone, because even by the end of KCD1, I kind of wasn't too sure about how the combat worked. I don't know if it's just because I didn't interact with it too much, because I would just swing in random directions, and it worked, but I never felt like I fully got the full combat breath to really expand and make it more fun for me. I was just a Master Striker the whole time. Went through the whole tournament, Master Strike and everything. I unlocked it as soon as I could.
Do you think it'll be set
That's the exact same to
during
me.
like the movies, or do you think it'll be in a different time period altogether? That's what I'm more curious about.
I don't I don't know. I don't know. They could do anything. They could do it hundreds of years before. They could do it in the middle of Sauron being there. They could do it after. There's so much shit they could do. But I've only seen them 3 main movies, Lord of the Rings 1, 2, and 3, so I don't really know much outside of that besides what happened in those 3 movies.
I've never watched the movies, but like, does it take place across the whole like world or like continent that it's set in, or is it more like an isolated, like Avatar?
It's like a big journey. They're going on this big journey
Oh,
to take the ring and burn it in the fire, and they have to go
okay.
all the way, yeah, to I think it's Mordor where they have to do it. It's
Well,
been
yeah.
over 20 years since I've seen them, so I can't
'Cause I
really
know
remember the actual
you
story to them.
Ubisoft's take on Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. It's canon to the movies, but it takes
Yep.
place in like a completely different continent of Pandora.
Oh,
So I was
really?
thinking maybe,
Okay.
yeah, maybe they could do the same thing with their game, or
Create their
even
own lore.
yeah, their own law, or even if it's like a situation with there is like a Lord of the Rings game, right? The Shadow Middle Earth, something like that. What
Shadow
is that?
War and
Yeah,
Shadow
is
of
that a
Mordor.
prequel or sequel? What is that? Is it canon
Those
or is
are
it
not
just
canon.
Remember
inspired?
Those are
it?
not canon.
I don't remember. Are they not canon?
They
No,
are
Is that
they're not
not
canon.
confirmed?
canon. No, they
Oh,
they use
damn.
a lot
I
of canon elements to like ground it in
Yeah.
the Lord of the Rings universe, but it is very much not canon. I think at some point, maybe
oh,
during
damn.
Shadow
Okay.
of Mordor, they were like toying with it maybe being canon, and then they just did so much stuff, especially in the sequel, to where people were like, yeah, no, like this, it doesn't work.
I think before the game actually comes out and we like get the trailers and all that, I think I'm just gonna marathon all 3 movies so I can refresh myself on what Lord of the Rings is like.
You should try and read The Hobbit as well, especially because The Hobbit branches out the like not the lore, but like it expands the
Yeah.
world in such a tangible way that I think that's kind of where they're going to target is playing around in these areas that aren't very Sauron specific, and that could
Yeah.
be a good way to kind of understand what all these different races and the different regions of the world have to do with. That's what I'd recommend. The Hobbit is also
Yeah.
much easier to read than The Lord of the Rings. It's only one book. It's a little bit shorter. Um, so yeah, I'd
Do you
recommend that
think
for sure.
we're going to be able to play as a hobbit or an orc or an elf, or do you think we're just going to be stuck to being a human?
Mm, I don't know. I mean,
Like they're going to have to include it, man. You know, like all the races, they're
I
all there.
I think it would be kind of fun to see them play around with being an elf or an orc because they're very um non-fleshed out races in the books and the movies. Not in an offensive way. It's just like very centered on the hobbits and the humans.
Yep.
And there's tons of lore around them, but we don't get a lot of things from the perspective of the elves and of the orcs. So it could be kind of cool if we got to participate in the world in that way, honestly.
Yeah, play a dwarf, see everything from, you're super short. I wonder how that would be. Like get an extra strength boost just because you can't see high.
That'd be funny.
It's pretty good. Character creator,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. I think those games, I'm gonna be there for both of them. I really like Warhorse. They make good games. So you guys have anything else you want to say about this? We didn't really get too much info, so there's not really too much to go on here.
Well, maybe they can come up. I know that like Middle Earth game, right? It has it's renowned for its nemesis system, which was patented
Yes.
or something.
Yes.
Maybe Warhorse can come up with their own new version of it. Well, not they can't have their own version of it, right? Because WB has like claimed it. But maybe they can do something similar that makes everyone
Yeah.
go, "Wow!"
Yeah. Because I
Yeah,
mean, it really just is like a bounty system. Bounty, like you're going after someone, they're going after you.
yeah.
I don't know. It is pretty deep though, but that is cool. If they could incorporate something like that, that would be awesome. Maddie, you got anything else you want to say?
No, just excited to see more. Probably going to be a while.
Cool. Yeah, it's going to be a minute.
Yeah.
I bet we're not going to see these games till probably next generation, I would say.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Up next, we're talking about CI Games, and they announced the end of their publishing deal with Epic. So everywhere else, it was just going to release on PlayStation and Xbox, no problem. But on PC, it was only going to release on the Epic Game Store. And we all know PC players don't really like the Epic Game Store. So when Lords of the Fallen 2, technically it's the third game, was announced back in 2024, it was confirmed to be an Epic Game Store exclusive on PC. And the agreement had it being a permanent exclusive, kind of like Alan Wake 2, and never coming to Steam. And the agreement read, and it was signed and started on June 15th, 2024. It's a signing of binding term sheet with Epic Games Incorporated. So it reads, the management board of CI Games SE, with its registered office in Warsaw, hereby announced that on June 14th, 2024, the company signed a binding term sheet with Epic Games Incorporated, to which the company grants Epic the exclusive worldwide distribution rights to the sequel of the game Lords of the Fallen on the PC platform for the entire product lifecycle. The rights of the game and the series, including all intellectual property rights, as well as the rights to publish and distribute the game worldwide on all other platforms, including the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series platforms, for which the game is currently in development, will remain with the company. The game is scheduled for release in 2026. The company and Epic will continue to negotiate a detailed publishing agreement, which the company will announce in a separate current report. So since that announcement, there has been significant backlash online about this decision because while it's subjective, Epic Game Store is not the best PC platform and it kind of pales in comparison to Steam. And then last week, a website published the legal proceedings about the termination of Epic and CI Games agreement with a follow-up this past Monday from CI Games themselves announcing the formal termination of their agreement with Epic that happened back on April 14th of this year. So Lords of the Fallen 2023 has gone on to sell 2.5 million copies and had a significant overhaul since launch. The game is now in its 2.0 state with performance, quality of life features, and overall gameplay being finely tuned. So, Maddie, what do you think about that? You think that's a good move? You think it was great that they ended their Epic deal so they can actually release on Steam and get PC sales?
And yeah, that's good for them for sure. I'm curious what the terms of that is. I know the
Hmm.
Epic money is real nice, so I'm very curious. This feels like a bet on themselves, which I commend
Yes.
always. Anytime a company is willing to bet on their own product, I think that's awesome. I just, that's a pretty big risk because anyone who's published on the Epic Game Store has said multiple times that Epic is a very good partner. They pay very well,
Hmm.
and they're very supportive
Hmm.
of the technology that you're using. Um,
Yeah.
but we did see a very strong rally from Lords of the Fallen 2 following their 2.0 update, and a lot of people say they're very excited for the sequel. Um, I just, we'll see what happens, I guess. Does this mean it'll launch on both then? Or like it'll be a
I
timed
think it's going to launch
exclusive?
on both. I think it's going to launch on Epic and Steam at the same time. It's no
Yeah,
longer just going to launch on Epic. Because the way the wording was is it was going to be a permanent exclusive to the Epic Game Store, but now it seems like there's just no deal at all, so they can just release it anywhere. So it would just be the smart thing to release it on all the platforms. Why
oh yeah,
not
for
release it
sure.
on Epic?
Yeah.
Wiz, you're mostly a PlayStation gamer, right? So you
I
don't
am,
really have a
yeah.
horse in this race. So this really doesn't affect you, does
I've got no clue aside
it?
from like, I mean, I guess does like Epic give them a lot of money to go towards the production of Lords of the Fallen 2, or
So they helped. So I think the biggest reason why they went with Epic is so they're using Unreal Engine 5. And
yeah,
when Lords of the Fallen 2023 released, I played it on release. It was in such a bad technical state. So I'm not even joking. You're going to be wondering why I kept playing. It crashed on me like 60 to 70 times in one playthrough.
Jesus,
Yeah, dude, it was insane. I don't know. Well, actually, I do know why I kept playing. I actually enjoyed the content of the game. They had a
yeah,
great aesthetic, really fun combat. The bosses were fun. It was great to explore. Like there was a lot good there, and I think people online shit on it because of how bad the launch was of it in the technical state.
mm,
And it just sucks because if that wasn't like that, I feel like the game would get a lot more praise, and they wouldn't have had to go through something like this. So it's a very good game. If you haven't played it yet and you like Souls likes, it's definitely worth picking up, especially now in its 2.0 state. I haven't played it
yeah,
in its 2.0 state. I only played it on release, and even I still liked it with all the bullshit that was going on with it. So if you like Souls likes, you like the actual like Dark Souls aesthetic of like dark gothic fantasy kind of.
yeah.
This game is definitely worth picking up. Did you play Souls like games, Wiz?
I've only played and completed Elden Ring, and I've played about 2 hours of Bloodborne.
At least you played the two best ones, so you
Yeah,
can't really complain there.
Yeah.
So I'm honestly pumped about this. The second it goes on Steam, I'm gonna pre-order it right away to show that I support this because I think it's gonna be a good game. Everything that they've shown so far looks really
Yeah.
good, from the combat to the art direction they're going with. I don't always agree politically with the reasons why they do things because sometimes it's a little ridiculous and they pander to I don't know weird groups of people. But I
oh yeah,
think yeah,
I
you know
see the
what I'm saying.
tweets.
But I
Yeah,
think the actual game itself will be great and I think
yeah,
they're going to pull it off. So it's releasing this year. We don't have a concrete release date, but I feel like we're going to get it from one of the summer showcases, probably Summer's Games Fest, if I was going to guess.
Yeah.
Maybe at the PlayStation one.
They've been heavily hinting at showing it like very, very soon. So I would assume that gives them basically two windows. We're either going to see it in summer or we're going to see it at the very end of the year because there isn't really many other
Yeah.
gaps within the release schedule to make them comfortable releasing this without that Epic money support. That's what it basically signaled to me.
Yeah.
It's like this is either coming out in June or July or it's coming out in like middle October or like late December. Like I'm talking like December 31st, something like that. Like that's the only two release windows I see.
I kind of feel bad for anyone releasing games November, December, and
Yeah,
January
it's
of
like it's a mess.
because it's going to be GTA. It's everything will be GTA. I don't think we'll see other stuff, but everyone will just be talking about GTA. Everyone will be getting GTA. Everyone will be taking their gift cards after Christmas to go buy GTA. Everyone will be getting GTA for Christmas. It's just going to be GTA season, and anything else will just be kind of like swept under the rug unless it's a big tentpole game from like Sony. But I don't think they even want to get in the way. No one wants to get in the way of GTA. So I agree. It'll probably come. I bet you it'll come like near the end of summer, or they'll either push it to like maybe next year with a delay. Okay. All right. So next up, we are going into the PlayStation account security issue. I honestly, did you guys really know too much about this before Colin said anything?
Nothing.
I think I was a victim of it actually last year.
No way.
Yeah. So I
Really?
don't know. I saw like the method that he posted on Twitter. I'm not sure if this is the way they done it to me last year, but last year, um, somehow they managed to get into my account. They deactivated my 2FA. So I was asleep during all of this.
Yep.
Deactivated my 2FA. I don't know how they done that. I just got the text, changed my password, put their own pass key, and then spent about like £100 on Roblox. And I said that was the most disrespectful part when I saw it was on Roblox. I was like, out of £100, and all you done it was on Roblox. And I was like, wow. But I think they actually had access to my email, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I managed to get my account back. I rang up PlayStation. I was like, hey, I didn't make this purchase. Can you refund me? They said, yeah. So they were really good in like rectifying it. But in
That's good.
terms of like deactivating my 2FA, don't know how they done it.
Oh,
Because
jeez.
it's my pass key, it's my face. So, you
Yes.
know,
Yeah,
but
that's
I'm sure
crazy.
maybe it's the method that the guy posted. Or was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
Yeah, so let me read it off so the audience, just in case they don't know. So it's not really a hack. It's more of like a lack of training from the support agents, and maybe there's
Uh,
not enough security systems in place. So essentially, what it is, it's a social engineering flaw where bad actors are successfully bypassing 2FA by convincing support agents that they own the targeted accounts. So they achieve this by using, kind of like basic stuff. If you post something online, like your PSN IDs, and they'll combine it with, transaction data or some sort of credit card number. If you post a screenshot and you see the last four digits of your credit card or some transaction, and then they'll just convince them like that. And if it doesn't work, they can just end the support session and go to another agent and try again. And apparently, this has been going on for quite some time. And like a little bit ago, earlier this year, a prominent trophy hunter got his account stolen this way. And it wasn't brought into the spotlight until a couple weeks ago, where Colin Moriarty, ex IGN, ex Kinda Funny Games host and co founder, and currently the Sacred Symbols owner, got his account taken. So Colin said a lot, but I'm going to summarize what kind of happened. So before this happened, Colin got a weird message on PSN saying, Colin, I am warning you, they have your information and they are going to take your account. And sure enough, it got taken. Now, if you want Colin's full experience, he actually just released a free episode of Sacred Symbols, so you can watch that. But he pretty much was only able to get it back quickly because of his stature in the video games industry and his inside connections. Some other random people might not have it. It sounds like you got it back pretty easy, Wiz, though. Like it
yeah, I
wasn't
think
too bad.
yeah. I think man was actually maybe it was an email breach actually because the person had access to my email I think as well.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so I'm not too sure if it's the. But I know my passwords are the same everywhere. So maybe by somehow finding my password for my PSN, they got into my email or emailed and PSN. I'm not too sure. But
Okay.
yeah, I managed to salvage it.
Thank God. Thank God. And as of right now, Sony has not made any formal statement on the issue, but I think because of how big it's getting, we're probably going to get something. Maddie,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts about this? It's a tough one,
Frustrating.
right?
Yeah, it's just like it's just exhausting that now if I create an account somewhere, I need an authenticator app. Every time I log in, I need to re-authenticate. If I
Oh,
get a new phone, I have to authenticate that phone to then use an authenticator app to log in. I'm sure all of you have seen like Google passkeys using facial ID or
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
thumb drives to log in. It's just exhausting. Like, and especially when it comes to stuff like video games, like this stuff shouldn't matter. Like it's just so loser type stuff. Like, really? Like, you're just sitting here
Yep.
hacking people because you either don't agree with the content they put offline, you're bored, and you just want to do it for quote unquote fun. Um, I do think there's a certain part of the internet that is sort of glorified hacking in a way. And it's kind of
Yeah.
created this environment where the bigger the hack, the more internet notoriety that you'll get. And it's just leading these companies to have to institute more and more security features that for 99% of people are just annoying. Like, I'm pretty sure
Yep.
all of us grew up in a time where a simple username and password was totally fine. and then the passwords had to
Yep.
get longer, and you had to institute more optional characters, and they got harder to remember.
Yeah.
And now most of us probably just have our passwords saved on our phones, and we need to go and check our password app to make sure we can remember them. And now you need these, like I said, the two-factor authentication apps or the texts or the emails, and it's just it sucks for it that it happens to people, but
It's exhausting.
Yeah, the whole thing is just a nightmare basically. And like you guys mentioned, if they get into your stuff, like they can purchase a bunch of things on your credit cards or whatever. They can get other personal information. They can do a whole host of things downstream of this. So, I mean, I'm glad Colin was able to get it taken care of, but I do hope that somehow Sony's able to close that loophole, since it does seem to be less technically involved and more just like social engineering,
Tricking someone.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Which it's kind of crazy that you can just like, you fail with one rep and then you move on to another one. You can convince them, then it finally, you can get through. It's just like, where does it stop? There should, I don't even know how you would go about stopping something like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
the hard part becomes like if your account is stolen in other ways and they make their security so hard to bypass, it makes you, like a normal paying customer, basically impossible to get their account back. Like it's just super difficult. Like they're gonna, at some point there's probably gonna be a thing where you need to report your government ID to be able to prove that it's you. Which at that point, if it's monitored and stolen, you're dealing with identity theft. Like it's just a whole thing that just makes it basically insanely difficult to deal with for any normal or sane person. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bigger issue than just PSN being hacked, and like it's really anything. And like I work in IT, and it's really they always say it's just not if you get hacked, it's just a matter of when and how you handle it. And Sony is just not handling it good when their customers get hacked. Sometimes it seems like it seemed like it was a lot of work for Colin just to get his account back. Like I've never seen like someone post that much of crazy stuff. Like he was talking about how his entire livelihood is on stake, and it actually is for him. That's his day job, his PlayStation account. He needs that to do what he does, to reference back to anything. So I hope this gets fixed, because it's crazy. Does the PlayStation app have a sort of like built-in MFA? Because I know Steam does. We have the Steam Guard, and anytime I want to log into, okay, yeah, I feel like that should be mandatory. Everyone should have to do that, because everyone has smartphones nowadays. Just download the app. You're already in their system. It's not going to hurt to put the app on your phone and have that extra layer of security, so you don't lose your shit and you don't spend $100 on Roblox.
Oh man, it was so disrespectful, man.
That is so disrespectful.
So disrespectful, man.
Like, was it a child who hacked it? Like at that point, like I've never played Roblox. I don't know any adults who play Roblox.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like, if it's Roblox, it must have been a kid. And I mean, given that you can just talk to an agent, a kid can talk to an agent and say, "No, this is mine, and then
like a pissed off teenager or something. That's just bored, and they just want to start hacking accounts because they know the flaws there. Wasn't the GTA hack? Remember, was it like 2 years ago? There was just a young kid who hacked into Rockstar's servers because he was bored.
Oh yeah,
do you guys remember?
Like that?
Yeah, he was young. He was so young.
The whole GTA 6 leak, right?
Mm-hmm.
The early leak. Yeah.
So it seems like there's spotlight on it. Colin did good. He did his due diligence using his stature and who he is to, throw that right in Sony's face, because this seems like something they need to deal with right away. PlayStation is the biggest gaming platform, so they need to get this under control, or else people are just going to get pissed. I don't know what it would take to move people to another platform, but if they lose, if you lost 20 years an account with all your games and stuff, would you be pissed and move to a different platform?
Well, I mean, I don't know, because the thing is, like, you'd have to start over purchasing all those games again. Like, that's the biggest thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't think I would be
hundreds of dollars
with Sony or Valve or Microsoft to be like, I'm not going to use your product anymore. If I liked the product, I'd just be in general very frustrated with obviously losing a ton of money on that.
Yeah. And that's where I would be. I think on my Steam account I have like 300 games. If I lost that and I had to buy them again, I would be pissed, if I couldn't get my account back. So hopefully they get that under control. The spotlight's on them. I bet you will get some sort of statement or something like that, but hopefully they'll fix it. So speaking of PlayStation, on to the next topic. It looks like we kind of knew this a couple months ago, And
Yeah.
as a PC gamer, I'm a little upset, but as someone who understands, competition, I get what's going on. So pretty much PlayStation single player games are going to be staying console exclusive now. We knew this 2 months ago when Jason Schreier said something, but then it was just confirmed again by Herman Hulse. So let me go and read all this. So a few months back, Jason Schreier released a Bloomberg article stating that Sony was pulling back on releasing their tentpole single player games on PC, but would still release their live service and multiplayer games on PC day one. A few other industry insiders and leakers confirmed they heard this too, with Nate the Hate saying, "You'll be seeing fewer single player games arrive on PC. The decision to shift away from supporting PCs was made last year. Naturally, some may still release, pending how far along the ports were. I don't think that's true anymore, but it no longer appears to be a priority for Sony moving forward." Then it went quiet for a couple of months until recently, according to a new article from Jason Schreier, that Herman Hulse addressed this in a company town hall, which, if you don't know what a town hall is, it's just like a big internal meeting with the whole company. And he said that they're done and it's just going to be the multiplayer games that are going onto other platforms, and their single player games are going to be staying PlayStation exclusive. And also, according to Bloomberg, before all this, there was a faction within PlayStation had also expressed concern that releasing their games on PC risks damaging the console's brand and will hurt sales of the PlayStation 5 and its successors, according to people familiar with Sony's inner workings. So, to me, this bums me out, but I totally understand, because before we started recording, I was talking with Wiz and I was just like, yeah, I didn't buy a PlayStation 5 because all the games were coming to PC. There was no reason to get me in that ecosystem. But now that they're pulling back again and I got a taste of the PlayStation games, I'm just like, shit, man. Wolverine's looking nice. like, what am I gonna do here? Like, I haven't played the Demon's
Looking
Souls
sweet,
remake
man.
either. I'm in a hard position. And
Mm.
I hate it. I don't like it, mostly because I don't get to play these games on my PC anymore. But the other thing that bugs me is just people online constantly shitting on it. It drives me crazy. They're just like, yeah, games are back where they're supposed to be. PC gamers don't deserve it. But that's just that's just rage bait. From a
Yeah, that's just
competition,
console
yeah,
wars and
exactly. From a
childish.
competition standpoint, hey, look at Nintendo. I buy Nintendo because I want to play their exclusive games. PlayStation need to get back on that ship and bring their exclusive games back, because how do you bring people into your ecosystem? The games that
Yeah.
you have. So what do you guys think about this? Is I know Wiz, you're mainly a PlayStation gamer, so
Mm.
and Maddie, you're like 50-50. So what do you guys have to say?
You go first, Z.
Okay. Well, I think overall, I'm not too fussed. For me, I'm very, as long as I get to play my games, well, I'm happy. If someone on Xbox gets to play it, if someone on PC gets to play it, whoop to do, everyone gets to play it. But if it does come at the cost of me not being able to experience, my like favorite games because they're losing money or whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna decrease the production of these games, then
Mm-hmm.
I would like it to, stay console exclusive. Um, the whole live service part, I guess I understand because
More
live
players.
service, you're constant, yeah, more players, and then you're constantly putting money into it, buying whatever battle passes or microtransactions that accompany these live service games. I do think it sucks because I could see it as well. I think I can understand what their businesses were saying, or like the first party developers were saying, because the timeline from PlayStation to then PC, I could see was shortening ever so much as the years went on. Even with I would say not Ghost of Yotei, Death Stranding 2, but that's
Yep.
third party anyways. But you could see
Yeah.
less than a year later it was out, so it makes sense. If people who have strong PCs, they're gonna want to stick to their PC and just play the PlayStation exclusives there. You don't really need to upgrade your PC either. Whereas a PS5, eventually they're not gonna make any games for it. And if I
Mm-hmm.
had a PC, I could still play the PS6 games without having to buy the PlayStation 6 console.
Yep.
So it makes sense. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I know a lot of people have said online, like, oh, um, like, what's the harm in letting people who don't have a PlayStation 5 but have a PC play them on PC? And I agree. Like, from a flat out number standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. Like, they've basically tapered off in sales on the PlayStation. You release them on PC, you get some extra juice, it feels good.
Yep.
But Fume, I feel like you're the prime example of the concern that I think Sony had, where when the PlayStation 6 comes out, and say it's more expensive, say it's $800 base when it comes out. I know people have said 1,000, some people have said 600, whatever. We'll say $800, right?
Yeah.
And say they're still releasing games on PC, and homie's not really clocked into the internet stuff, and he goes, well, all those PlayStation games have been coming to PC. I play a lot of Grand Theft Auto. I play, some 2K. I play, some of these other games, and I like the Sony games, but like if I'm down to wait, why would I buy a PlayStation and have to pay for PSN Online, and do all this stuff when I can just get a PC and I'll still get those games that I want? Like long tail releasing games on PC literally demolishes the value of a PS5. And
It does. It really does.
people are gonna get into this whole thing about like, yeah, then the PlayStation wasn't worth that much as a product, and like there's a whole conversation we can have about it, but like a huge part of console value comes from their exclusive content, and that goes across all business sectors in the United States. Like you are only as good as the exclusive product that you like present. If I could get a Chipotle bowl at Taco Bell, Chipotle is a lot less valuable to me, like the physical store and stuff, than Taco Bell would be at that point. And that's just, and as long as Sony is prioritizing selling third-party games on their console, they need to have first-party games to bring people in, because when they make money off of the store, and if people stop buying their console, a massive amount of revenue that they get downstream of the console is lost. That's what people always talk about, like, oh, Sony makes all this money off the consoles. They don't make a lot of money off the consoles. They almost always sell them at a loss, even when they raise the prices. They make money off of PS Plus, and they make money off of selling third-party games on their store. Like, that's where all the money comes from. And if people aren't buying games on their store, they lose tons of money. We don't get Wolverine. We don't get God of War. We don't get all these other things that we like because they can't fund it. And so it's like, it sucks really bad for PC players, and it sucks for games preservation because Sony is not good at games preservation. But it adds a ton of value that was lost to the PlayStation when you started taking games from being like all-time exclusive on PlayStation.
Yep, exactly. It's just like when a new show gets released, like on a streaming service, and I want to watch it, I got to go get that streaming service. So if I want to play, the exclusive Wolverine or Saros, which I'm pissed I missed out on, I got to go out and get a PlayStation. And I think that's the way it should be to keep competition healthy, because if everything's everywhere, it's just the competition I could see dwindling down a little bit, because it's more just based on what the platform features offer, rather than the games that are on the systems. And it's just like, that's not exciting. I mean, features are cool. They're quality of life stuff, but I care about the games. I want to be immersed in what they're releasing and all that. And Z actually made a good point. Like, do some of these ports, take away from the development team's time? I think The Last of Us Part 1 did, because Nix is working on it, but I think they were also helping too. So they were probably coming on, they probably had people that could have been on something like Intergalactic or The Last of Us Part 3 or Factions, but they were making this PC port, and it turned out to be, nothing nothing against them, but it turned out to be one of the worst performance PC ports to ever exist. It was horrible. It was embarrassing. And that was kind of like where the Sony PC ports fell off, because right after that, I think they implemented the PSN requirement, which cut off 177 countries, which is like 2 billion people. But apparently, like, those 177 countries weren't too big in the purchasing power anyway. So it wasn't too bad. So it was more of like the social stigma behind, hey, Sony's, blocking all these people. And then it turned into a big shit show. So everything after that, kind of like, if you look at the like the player numbers of God of War 2018 when it hit PC, which is like a month before Elden Ring, it opened up to like 70K concurrent players, and then God of War Ragnarok opened up to like 30K concurrent players. And I wonder if that had to do with the PSN requirement and people just kind of like boycotting it a little bit. It was kind of like PC players were battling with PlayStation in a way, and it's just like PlayStation was just like, fuck this, we don't need them. And it turns out, it's probably better to have the console exclusives on your console to bring people to the ecosystem. So as a PC player, it sucks for me, but Sony's going to get my money. They have games I want to play. just like
Yeah.
Nintendo with Zelda and all that. All right, you guys got anything more to say on this?
Yeah, I think one last thing I want to put in, because I've seen this a lot. People saying that exclusives are inherently anti-consumer. Um,
Mm,
Something being anti-consumer is when a company specifically does something that only disproportionately affects the consumer in a negative way. And
yep.
exclusives don't do that. You are getting a product that they sell at a reasonably competitive price that you enjoy. They're not price gouging you on the product. They're using those funds to then produce more things that you like. And like so they are inherently just part of the business ecosystem. When you lock things behind your storefront or you only sell things, like you're just adding value to your company that allows you to then service further consumers. So like I know
Yep.
this got pushed when the whole Xbox third party thing kind of blew up and all these influencers were saying, yay, Xbox, like they're doing away with exclusives, it's good for us consumers. It might be good for consumers. Like it might be good that you can access them wherever you want to, like Fume said, in the short term. But if it costs you these companies and these games that you like long term, like that's where we're getting into this discussion of like, am I willing to give up short term access for long term product quality? In my case, I am. In a lot of other people's cases, they probably are. And I totally get people who are like, nah, I don't care. Like if Sony goes under, like I'll find other stuff to play. I would rather be able to play
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that they have now. And I get that argument. But for Sony's current business model, the only way it works is that they sell consoles, and the way they sell consoles is by making games exclusive. Like it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That business model has been around for 30 years now.
It's been
It's
around
the
longer
business
than
model
that.
that puts. Yeah, yeah. I'm talking about for gaming.
Yeah.
It's been around for a long since probably the beginning of time. But in gaming, it's been around forever. I remember.
Valve
What was
does
it?
it.
Final Fantasy. Yeah, they do. They do with
People,
Half-Life Alex.
well, and not just that. Like I know that they sold Half-Life and Left 4 Dead and other games on consoles. I'm not talking about console exclusivity, but on PC, if you want to play those games, you can't play them on the Epic Game Store. Like you have to
Mm-hmm.
go, and so you start building these libraries on Steam. Steam makes money on those third-party purchases. They use that money to then fund the development of Deadlock and CS:GO and all these other things that they do. Like Steam is an
Yep.
exclusive storefront, but people like to pretend that there's some open ecosystem company where they ship their games wherever. They don't. And they haven't shipped a game on console in how long? I know it's been how long since they've even shipped a game, but like they're an exclusive company, and this is just how
Yeah.
capitalism works. Like you gain money
Yeah.
off of offering something that only you can create, and the people have to come to you to
Mm.
buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also have to remember that Valve is releasing a console, the Steam
Yeah.
machine. So that adds a whole other layer of competition that wasn't there before when they were an exclusive. They had their own ecosystem on PC, because on top of that, Xbox Helix is going to be an open platform too. So, you put Windows on it, you load up Steam on your Xbox, and then you have people taking pictures of their Xbox playing Ghost of Yotei or Saros and all these other games. And everyone's just like, well, why don't I get an Xbox? Because I
Exactly.
can get the PlayStation games. There's just so many factors where being a multi-platform, you know, release while owning a platform just isn't the move.
Yeah.
So I just understand. I hate it, like I keep saying, because I have to buy another platform. But competition is beneficial to the consumer, so it's good that they're going to go back on this.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So
Fun
that
times.
was yes, fun times. So now we're going into the summer showcase season. So we're gonna have a big state of play. That is, they announced it 2 weeks early,
Yes,
and
sir.
there's gonna be so we know there's gonna be some crazy stuff there. We already know Wolverine's gonna be there, but if they're announcing a showcase, 2 weeks early, and I think I read somewhere like it's gonna be a 90-minute showcase. Like
90 minutes, yeah.
yeah, it's gonna
And
be a big one.
it's being shown in like a theater or something.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, and I
They're
think the
showing
last
it in
time,
5 theaters.
Not
fuck,
just any
Jesus. I think the
theaters.
last time they done that was God of War, right?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
been a
which one?
long time. And not just any theaters. I don't know if you guys have been to these theaters, but they're like full service, like the highest quality theaters you can go to. They have they serve the food to you at the table, like where you're sitting. Like if you make noise, they kick you out. Like it's a whole thing. Like
Oh,
they booked like
Really?
very nice theaters for these things.
okay.
So this is going to be crazy. This is going to be nuts, I bet. Right? I mean, Nate the Hate said to keep our expectations in check, but this seems like it's going to be, a big show.
I think that's just so people don't go crazy with we're gonna see God of War, Intergalactic, Wolverine, like
Yeah.
everything. I think we'll still see big
Just every
items.
fucking IP they own.
Yeah, just everything. I think that's more what they're saying, but I think it is reasonable to have high expectations for this show, especially considering how good the one in the spring was.
Yeah. Yeah, that spring show, they had the Konami stuff where they showed off Silent Hill Townfall and revealed Castlevania Belmont's Curse. Like, oh man, that just was a good show. That was for me. So this summer we're getting the State of Play, we're getting the Xbox Showcase, which is going to be on Sunday, June 7th. I think there's a Nintendo showcase, but it hasn't been announced yet. And then obviously some Games Fest. So those are gonna be the four big ones, and then you obviously have things like the Future Game Show. I think is around that time. What are you guys expecting? What do you guys want to see? What are you guys hyped for? What show are you most excited for?
Take it away, Matt.
I mean, I'm an SGF guy. Like, I love the State of Plays, but there's just something about SGF where everybody watching it is gonna get to play everything, where it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing is very cool. But I will say the State of Plays are really hype because they're just paced very well. There's no ads in them. It's just like bang, 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 bang games. And then the Xbox ones are cool because they normally do like devlogs and stuff in them, where they give a chance for the devs to talk about their behind the scenes stuff and kind of get a window into what they're producing. But I think SGF this year is gonna be something to watch for sure. I'm hoping that we see CD Projekt Red there. That's been my long tail.
Ooh.
I've been telling people do not expect them to do their own show or to just come out the woodworks and say something. I've had that date circled, and that's why it's probably number one on my list. I don't know what they're gonna show.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be Witcher 4. It'll be the rumored DLC. It'll be something else. But that's where I'm expecting CDPR to show up. We know that GTA is probably not going to be shown off until late June or early July at this point, at the earliest. So we won't be seeing them. I don't know. It's between State of Play and SGF, but I think SGF is going to be really good. I just don't. That's just something I feel in my gut. I don't have a reason why that one would be crazier than the other one.
There's just something about Jeff shows.
Yeah, I know Jeff.
He's a good host. He's a really good host.
He does a good job.
Yeah.
What about you, Z? What are you excited for? What are you hoping to see?
I swear, I'm not a PlayStation fanboy, but it's got to be the State of Play. I'm super excited for Wolverine, and then also Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. I mean, if you look at my Twitter account, I'm constantly yapping about it. Then not only that, the rumored God of War game.
Yep, with Faye.
I hope they show that. And then based off of, I don't know, did we have a State of Play earlier this year?
Yeah.
Or was it September last year?
No, we have.
Okay, because we're still waiting. Earlier this year, right? Because I know they showed Kenna, Scars of Cosmora, but that doesn't have a release date yet. So I'm interested. I'm pretty sure we should get a release date for that as it's releasing this year. And it's summer now, and September's filled with some loads of games. And then what else could they possibly show? And I guess there's some third-party games in the State of Play. Final Fantasy, the third one of the remake.
Yes. Yep. I'm very excited
and then for the SGF, like Matt said, I think the main thing I'm looking forward to is potentially a CDPR reveal. I really want to know what's happening next with The Witcher 4, or are they going to do that Witcher 3 DLC, which is potentially going to bridge Witcher 3 and The Witcher 4, and I'm super excited for that. The Xbox one, I'm excited for that as well. And I guess you could also say this is where it kind of throws back to the whole exclusive argument, because they've got the Gears of War that's coming out on PlayStation 2, and then also the Fable game, which is made by a Xbox studio, but it's still releasing on PlayStation. We're still waiting for a release date, and it looks really good. I really like how that game looks.
It does.
I'm interested in that. And then Nintendo, I mean, I have an old Switch, so I'm probably not going to be able to play anything.
Are you not a big Nintendo guy? Do you like
Not anymore.
Pokemon, Zelda?
No, I got a Switch, I think like 2 years ago, the Tears of the Kingdom OLED, and I just finished Breath of the Wild. That's literally what I have. I'm not really a big Nintendo fan anymore. I was back in the day with my DS Lite. That was
Yep,
my
yep.
first ever DS, the Lego games and Sims and Mario Kart, Sonic Rush. Not anymore.
Okay, so you grew up with Nintendo. You played a lot of Nintendo,
Yeah,
but like as you've grown up, they just haven't resonated with you as much to follow them, play them,
exactly. Yeah.
which makes sense. They do have a more kid friendly aesthetic. I just love Pokemon so much.
Mm.
It was one of the first games I ever played growing up. My brother handed me his copy of Pokemon Sapphire and was like, "Here you go, play it." And ever
Fell
since
in love.
that, yeah, just the sense of adventure with being like, I think I was 7 at the time, and I had this
Yeah.
whole world to explore.
Mm.
Like back in the day, like open world games, they weren't too big. So I can only imagine something like when Final Fantasy VII came out, how big that game was, like with the open world
Yeah.
map and all that. People must have been like, dude, this game's blowing my mind. And then like something like Oblivion comes out, and that's a massive open world. Just the Pokemon is what really gave me a sense of exploration in video games.
Experience.
That's why I've just been a Nintendo fanboy ever. And obviously Ocarina of Time, Zelda is one of my favorite games of all time. So, all right, let me go into my predictions and what I created a long list of things I'm excited for. So, all right, so the first thing that I really really want to see and I think we're going to see is the Code Veronica Resident Evil remake. I know that Requiem just released, but this has been cooking for dude so long, and Capcom really does a good job at releasing a Resident Evil game every year because it just seems like they have a really good pipeline of how they go about developing their games to stay on like a timeline and stuff. I think what was it 2024 and 2025 we didn't have any Resident Evil, but that's just because Requiem went through a whole bunch of overhauls. Like it used to be called Apocalypse, and it was more of an action game, co-op. It was open where like they completely redid it. So I'm excited for Code Veronica. I'm also excited to see, if we don't see Code Veronica, I think we're going to see a Requiem DLC trailer. I know we just got the DLC. Did you play Resident Evil? Are you a Resident Evil fan?
Yeah. I've only played. I mean, I played Requiem, loved it.
Yep. So you
I've
did play
only
Requiem?
played. Yeah, I played that. But I haven't played like the Code Veronica. I've played the remake of 2, 3,
Fantastic.
4. I've played 7. I need to play 8, and I've played 9.
Okay, so
But
you
I
played
haven't
all
played
the
5 and
RE
6.
engine games.
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite? Are you going to say 4?
No, 2 actually. I
Really?
love 2. 2 is so good.
It
I
is.
think it might be one of my favorite of all time. Not in my
It's a
top.
fantastic game.
In my top 15. Yeah, it's so good.
Okay, so then after that, Resident Evil, very excited for that. I think we're going to see Final Fantasy VII Part 3. I think it's going to get its, announcement trailer. We're going to see some crazy shit between Sephiroth and Cloud clashing swords, and we're going to see the flying ship and the open world that we're going to be able to explore, all that. I think it's just going to be a nice big trailer, and I think it's going to have a release date of either early next year or in the summer of next year. Because when did Part 2 come out? I think that was.
It's like
Are both of you guys?
2023 or 2022.
I think it was 2024 actually, and it was like in
Oh snap!
February. Yeah, yeah, because 2023 was the year of Baldur's Gate
Oh right,
3,
yeah.
and yeah, so it was 2024. So it seems like it's been enough time. Right now, it's been almost 3 years. So I think next
Yeah.
year will be the 4th year. They already have the engine going. They have so they have all the mechanics of the game made. So they really
Mm.
just have to make the world. So I think we have a strong possibility of seeing Final Fantasy VII Part 3. And I think it's going to be released on all platforms because I think Square kind of went away from the exclusivity deals just because it wasn't working out too well for them. And I think that was mostly because it's taking too long to release Final Fantasy games. So it's just like they're not seeing a resurgence in fans too much. So it's better when a series ages with the gamers, but
Mm.
the games are just releasing too far apart that it's just like not the younger generations aren't growing up with it. So I don't know. That's just what I think about why that maybe didn't do too hot when it first released. I really want to see Lords of the Fallen 2's release date. I want to see, this is going to be a big one. I want to see a Rocksteady Batman Beyond game get released.
Yep.
I want to see Stranger Than Heaven get a release date. I want to see Silent Hill Townfall and Castlevania Belmont's Curse get release dates. I want to see the Dusk Bloods from Software get a release date. And I also want to see a new From Software game. There were some rumors recently that they were making like this pirate game but it's rumors. It could be true. It could not be. From Software always gets like early concept art leaks, so maybe it's possible that one of the pictures was actually real. I want a Star Wars Jedi 3 trailer. I want that to finally get announced. I want to see a Fallout 3 or a New Vegas remaster. I want a Tunic sequel. Did you guys play Tunic?
No.
What is
Oh,
Tunic?
Never heard of
It
that.
is. It's just an indie game. It's almost like classic Zelda. You play as like this little bear dude, and I think I'm not going to do it justice with my words. Just go watch a trailer of Tunic. You might be interested in it. It's just a really nice, heartwarming, like adventure game with some combat and exploration. It's really good. But like I said, I'm not doing the game justice with my explanation of it. I want to see a Mortal Shell 2 release date with digital pre-orders opening, or just pre-orders in general. I want to see the Bloodstained sequel release date, and I want to see a Witcher 4 in-engine gameplay trailer.
Yes.
So I also have some super wishes, and those are the Dead Cells 2. I want to
wishes.
I don't want to say realistic, but those were like my I really want to see these, but these next three next ones are going to be like my holy grail. I don't think they're going to happen, but I really want to see.
Okay.
So a Dead Cells 2, a Castlevania Symphony of the Night remake, which I think we're absolutely going to get at some point. It's just a matter of when, but I don't think it's going to come now. And this is the one I actually think is the most realistic of showing this summer, is the Ocarina of Time remake reveal trailer. Because Nate the Hate already said it exists, and he's one of the most reliable leakers in the game. So I know, I 100% believe that it exists. And they're saying it's going to release in the holidays. So, I mean, this would be the best time to announce it, It's everybody's favorite Zelda game. It's mine. It's everyone that's my age that grew up with it. They love Zelda too. So they want to get the hype train going early before the holidays. But then again, GTA is coming to the holidays. So that's my big prediction list at Summer Games Fest. What do you guys think about that? Anything that I said stick out to you guys? I know I mentioned a lot, so you probably can't remember all of it.
Jedi 3 is what really caught my Jedi 3
Yes.
and Batman Beyond. I'm
Yes.
super excited for, just to like conclude Cal Kestis's story. I think he's like my favorite Jedi, honestly. I love
He's awesome.
It's amazing. I love 1 and I love 2 even more. I really want to see how they deal with him. Well, sorry, Matt, have you played it before I start dropping a bit
Only
of
the beginning.
spoilers?
I told
Only
you
the
that I
beginning.
would play it if Part 3 gets announced at these shows. I said, when it gets announced,
Wait.
I'll play it.
Because he just played Fallen Order, right? You just played Fallen Order recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I won't say too much then. But yeah, Jedi 3. And then I think Rocksteady, especially with the release of this new Lego Batman game, which is being well received. And also, they need to have a comeback from Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Batman Arkham Knight is one of the game that everyone says just ages so well. You always see it. I can't believe this was from Unreal Engine 3 back in how many years ago. Just knowing what they're capable
11
of.
years ago, dude. So
11
long ago.
Yeah, exactly. And it still looks beautiful. Like if it released now, I don't think anybody would complain. Bit of Ubisoft shade, but it looks better than some Ubisoft games.
I actually replayed all 3 last year, and they held up so well. The combat, the exploration, the game looked fantastic, like you said.
Fantastic. But yeah, those 2. That's what caught my eye, from your list.
Did you grow up watching Batman? How old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay, so you might not have grown up watching Batman Beyond. Did you see that on Cartoon Network?
I think so.
Like you were probably super little. You probably don't remember too much of it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just watch whatever came on TV, but I do remember seeing it. But I didn't watch it like consistently. I was more of a Power Rangers guy. Power Rangers and
I love Power Rangers. I loved the I think it was Wild Force was my favorite.
Wild Force, yeah.
Loved Wild Force.
I love Zanaku.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I wasn't too big of a Power Rangers guy, but I did grow up watching Batman the animated series and Batman Beyond. And those were like, I was probably like 5 or 6, so those were like the first, real kind of, I don't want to say violent, but like action shows I watched. So it stuck with me as a young kid being into that stuff. So I was just like, Batman's my favorite superhero, and I've just been waiting forever to get a Batman Beyond game because, oh my God, the way they could do something like that, like they could reintroduce all the skills because it's a new Batman, so you can do all that, and then it's a futuristic Gotham. You can see what happened I don't know how they're going to do it, because in the Batman Beyond cartoon, it picks up with a young kid and Bruce Wayne kind of takes him under his wing. But in the Arkham universe, the game's 11 years old, so I'm going to kind of spoil it. He disappears, so he's not there. So I don't know how they were going to go about that. So I don't know. But the game is going to be awesome, and I think they're going to do a Batman Beyond game. I think we're going to.
Are you hoping for like a sequel type, or like a reboot, or like a completely new game, or a sequel to that Arkham Knight?
So I want it to stay in the Arkham universe because I like how they did it so much. But I don't know how they're going to do it with the way that Arkham Knight ended.
Because, Nightfall.
Yeah, exactly. Nightfall. And that's Bruce Wayne is super important to who Terry is, who is Batman Beyond in the new show, because you can't have a new Batman without the old Batman kind of guiding him along the way. So it'll be tough. So those are going to be that. Let me read off Jay's predictions. Do you guys have anything more you want to say about what you're anticipating, or are you just kind of excited?
I want to see more Infamous. I know that's like that game's very important to me as a player, and one of the reasons I love PlayStation in general. I used to play it on the demo, the demo consoles at the store all the time when I go out with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Sucker Punch has done some interesting things as of late, where they're kind of hinting that like Infamous isn't done yet, but we don't know if they're going to be working on it. We have no idea what's coming after Ghost of Yotei. Now that Ghost of Yotei is content complete, they're done with it. I'm very curious to see if PlayStation brings back Infamous. I think like there's so much room for that in their general catalog. I'm really hoping we get something, but I'm not holding my breath. That's like a deep cut that I'd be down for. I really want to see Space Marine 3. It's been announced. We know it's in production. And it's been a year since we got the announcement. So if Saber comes through and is like, hey, here we go, I would be like floored. I love that game. And then Knights of the Old Republic. We haven't heard anything for a long time. The remake.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's with ages.
Those are the three that, like, if I see any of those three, I'd be stoked. If I saw all three, I would be floored. And the other thing with the Xbox Showcase, I'm curious what they're going to do, because we've seen like deep cuts into everything they're releasing this year except for Gears of War. So I don't know what they're going to show. Yeah. Like but it's apparently it's a whole showcase, so like they got to have at least half an hour of footage, right? And I if it's 10 minutes of Gears of War, like what else can they pad that out with? Are they going to show more Fable? Do they have some things that, they're partnering with other studios on? I don't know. I'm curious.
Maybe some older remasters of the Bethesda games, because they have all Bethesda,
Yeah.
We could get, something like Doom the Dark Ages DLC.
Yeah, the DLC,
What else does Xbox do? Xbox has so much. Maybe Wolfenstein 3, we could see something like that.
You think we'll see the Modern Warfare 4 reveal at the Xbox Showcase?
Oh, probably, yeah. I completely forgot about that because it's Call of Duty, and it's just like I'm just so used to kind of just like it's everywhere all the time.
Every year, yeah.
I'm always curious when those marketing cycles kicked off, because they're like some of the most expensive in the industry. Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not a big Call of Duty guy. Do you guys play a lot of Call of Duty?
Used to.
Back when I was young, but not anymore.
Back in high school when I had the free time to play a bunch of online games and get good at it. But not anymore.
I stopped with what, Black Ops 3? That's what I stopped with.
Oh, it's been a minute.
Yeah. I started with Modern Warfare 1, and then I went to World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, and then I fell off after Black Ops 1 because I think I graduated or something happened. I just stopped playing less video games. So, but let me read off Jay's predictions, because he sent me some, and Jay couldn't be with us this week. He's doing some family stuff. He will be back for next episode when we talk about all the big showcases. So Jay's predictions are Wolverine, which we're going to see that anyways. And then he wants to see GTA 6. So let me read it off to you. So Jay said Wolverine and GTA 6 are the big ones for me. GTA 6 is likely to have its own separate thing rather than show up at any of the conferences, but I'm confident Rockstar will begin marketing one way or another over the summer. Also hoping and pretty confident to see more Tides of Annihilation, The Blood of the Dawnwalker, and various Star Wars projects, KOTOR remake, reboot, Galactic Racers. He also wants to see more Tomb Raider, and he's worried that the Legacy of Atlantis will be delayed but hopefully he'll learn more soon. And then he mentioned a couple other games. He mentioned Phantom Blade Zero, Control Resonant, Onimusha.
yeah.
I forgot about Onimusha too. I think that looks really good.
You guys see the rumors that Onimusha might be getting a full like series remake if this new game does really well?
I did see that.
Oh,
That was
I
interesting.
did see that.
Which
Have you played any of the other old ones?
haven't touched them, which is why I was intrigued because if they decide to remake the series, if this one does well, I could see myself getting into what the game projects to look like. Like it sounds interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. He also wants to see an Infamous remake or remaster. He says doubtful but hopeful. He wants to see the Duskbloods. He wants to see a game called Dusk Fade. I haven't heard of that. Have you guys heard of Dusk Fade?
Yes.
never. No.
So
Yes.
you guys might want to keep an eye on this. Jay is a big Kingdom Hearts fan. It makes sense. It's a 3D action
Okay.
platformer that's like they've said is heavily inspired by Kingdom Hearts. Even the sword uses kind of like a keyblade. It's more of a sword, but like you can tell that the aesthetic is there. The demo is live on Steam, and it might be live on PlayStation as well. It's only about 30 minutes. It's a pretty short demo, but you get a good idea of what it's all about. Pretty fun. I'm hoping that we do see more of that soon because I did enjoy the demo a fair amount.
Let me check out Dusk Fade. Because all my buddies, pretty much but me in real life, grew up playing Kingdom Hearts, and I was the only one who didn't. So I just couldn't relate to it too much. Okay, I see what you mean. This definitely looks Kingdom Heartsy.
Yeah, it's in
Oh wow.
Collaboration with PlayStation, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up seeing more of it because it's been a little while since we've heard from the game.
I wonder if that would be a PlayStation exclusive because it's more of like, is it an indie game or is it just?
Yeah, it's like
oh no, they have a publisher. Yeah, it looks like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Jay also said he wants to see Fable, RE9 DLC, and Hogwarts Legacy 2, which is actually a game that I'm anticipating too. I forgot about that. I enjoyed the first one a lot as someone who wasn't like I grew up watching Harry Potter 1, 2, and 3, and then I just fell off and I didn't watch the next 4. But then I played Hogwarts Legacy, and then I was just like, that was actually pretty good. So then me and my wife sat down and we watched like all 8 movies over a course of a month or two, and dude, great movies,
Really good.
fantastic game. So I can't wait to see what they do with that.
Yeah.
So cool. I think that was our.
I'm very cautiously optimistic with Warner Brothers games right now. I'm just anything that's been published or developed by Warner Brothers, I'm not holding my breath on, including Rocksteady games. That's the only reason that I'm like not getting myself hyped up for it. Just with all of their transition going on, the struggles in their games department, and just honestly a pretty bad company, if we're being real. I just, we'll see. If we see anything, I would be happy, but I'm not holding my breath over any of it.
It would honestly be crazy if they fucked up Hogwarts Legacy 2 because what did Hogwarts Legacy 1 sell like 30 million copies?
It's one of the
and I kept reading stuff. Yeah. Dude, insane. And I kept reading stuff like they want to, implement multiplayer and live service things. And it's just like, okay, maybe I can understand multiplayer playing co-op in Hogwarts, adventuring with your buddy. That sounds pretty cool. But like, what the fuck's up with a live service? Like, all you're going to do in that situation is just add bad press to a game that's already going to sell, fucking bonkers amounts of copies.
I'll push back against that.
Ooh.
You ever heard of the game Wizard 101?
Oh,
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I love Wizard 101.
So Wizard 101 is essentially like a wizard MMO that like all of us Harry Potter fans grew up with before Harry Potter got like a good game. And I could totally see them doing like a Harry Potter MMO type thing where like dungeons and raids with like crazy spells and like all this kind of stuff. I could see it happening. I'm not saying it would be good or they could really pull it off, but like Harry Potter is one of the few titles or IPs that I could see getting like a serious MMO project and people like genuinely liking, because you could really expand it with like crazy dungeons and raids and multiplayer content and story content and fighting different enemies. There's tons of lore around that kind of stuff, especially because Hogwarts Legacy takes place before Harry Potter, when like the dark arts are much more prevalent in the world. Like, I think they could do a lot with it. Again, not saying it would be good, but I'm saying that the bones are there to make something that could be really interesting.
So what I'm getting from that is they should probably make a totally separate game and make an online Harry Potter thing rather than make Hogwarts Legacy 2 into that.
Probably, yes.
Doesn't that sound like it? I feel like that would just be the better idea in that situation. But you never know, like you said. Warner Brothers sucks. They're honestly one of the worst publishers in the game because all they care about is live service, live service. So if you're watching this, Warner Brothers, get your shit together because what the fuck was Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Sorry, Rocksteady. Okay, so that was our summer showcase predictions. Now we are going to hop on over to the Bungie ends Destiny 2 support and lots of bad news. Maddie, is it cool if I throw this one over to you since you're our resident Bungie expert?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I'll pour one out for the homies. For those of you that don't
Yeah,
know,
please do.
yeah, Bungie announced this past week, 2 days ago. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago now, as a time of recording, that they are ending support for the live service functionality or live service updates of Destiny 2 on June 9th, 2026. So that's, just a little bit under a month away. It kind of came out of the blue, if we're being real. They did have other content planned, nothing that they had allowed people to purchase, but they had, shown off that there was more content planned after this most recent expansion. If I'm remembering correctly, it was titled like The Alchemist or something like that. We didn't know a whole lot of details. But ultimately, the most important thing is it was pretty clear that Destiny 2 was not planned to be wound down. And this was a pretty out of the blue announcement.
Mhm.
Destiny fans are pretty aware that the game has not done well post Lightfall and really since post Final Shape, which was the main resolution expansion that came out, I think 2 or 3 years ago now. And their like attempt to keep the game going post then has just constantly brought in less and less players. They've been struggling on that front for a while. But Destiny is really important to a lot of people, and I don't want to downplay that. I think it's very important to realize that like Destiny was the MMO for console players for like a long time, and it's an important thing to a lot of people. Obviously, Marathon has not blown the doors off. PlayStation has admitted they spent way too much money on Bungie. They had over a $750 write-down. So what that means is that Bungie has, or PlayStation has said that Bungie is worth at least $750 million less than the $3.6 billion they paid for them to acquire them. That's essentially what it means. They're taking like a tax write-off of 750 plus million. That's what a write-down is. So if you do the math,
That's crazy.
yeah, they're saying that Bungie is worth basically like $2.85 million or $billion post their acquisition. So this is a big reason for why. Yeah. And it has appeared that Marathon will be the title for the foreseeable future for Bungie. My two main thoughts, I'm going to try and be as unemotional about this as I can, because I really like Marathon. But for a long time, people have kind of assumed that Bungie is a one-game studio. They can't multitask. And when they split from Activision, they started all these little incubation projects that they kind of used to pitch themselves to other companies that might want to buy them. Those projects never came to fruition. One of them has been spun off into a entirely different studio under PlayStation, and the rest of them have been essentially canceled. Bungie has since said they're working on other incubation projects. None of them have been greenlit, including Destiny 3. So that essentially means that Marathon is the Bungie game for now. Going forward, I understand why people are really disappointed about Destiny 2 and how it's just kind of ending. We didn't really get a huge resolution, and it's just kind of like, yep, we're done. It's probably going to lead to a lot of layoffs. We've seen reporting on that from Forbes and Bloomberg, which I think you guys know at this point. I hate when developers get laid off, especially when they're working as hard as they can.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the Bungie leadership just deserves a big old middle finger. Like, I think everybody understands that Destiny was really important to a lot of people. It was a very profitable IP, and it was mismanaged horribly. like terribly. Like the amount of ups and downs that that game went through, just terrible. And the idea that they are wrapping up this game without having a Destiny 3 just like boom slam ready to go is just a big slap in the face to the players to me, because it's like you knew that they wanted it. People have not been quiet about that. The game was it still has about the same amount of players every day as Marathon, even in the poor state that it's in. Um, and now you're just saying we're not going to have another game for like 5 years. And if you want to keep playing Bungie games, you got to play Marathon. And it's like, damn, like the whole situation just kind of sucks, because it would be like World of Warcraft basically saying, we might make something in the future, and if you love World of Warcraft, you need to go and play Diablo. Like, okay, but Diablo's not World of Warcraft, it's like, I get it. um, and it sucks because like, it just feels like a big slap to a lot of the players who've supported it through thick and thin. I do think a lot of people have handled it very poorly online, either targeting devs or the communication from the studio. A lot of the people we found out didn't even know it was happening until Bungie put out the post. Like, most of the studio was not informed of this. And again, it's just one of those things where the studio leads have horribly mismanaged the product, and it's leading to a lot of hurt for the people who have made products that we love as players, basically. So yeah.
So I got two questions for you. Sure. I'm gonna start with one, and then I'll go to the other. So the final shape was the last Destiny 2 expansion, right? No, it wasn't. Okay. Which was the last Destiny 2 expansion?
Renegades. It was the Star Wars themed.
And do you think? Okay. So maybe this is I was gonna ask, do you think that expansion gave Destiny a good end?
No.
But maybe since it's Star Wars, maybe not.
Yeah, so sounds like
this is no shade to Renegades. I think it's fine. Like, it was a decent expansion.
Yeah.
It's just like I was saying, it was pretty clear that there was many plans for after Renegades, and for them to just kind of throw the axe down. We're done in June. People are like, what? Like it's pretty clear that they had other stuff that they wanted to do with this. So yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know how they're gonna work on multiple projects when I think didn't they have like 1,800 employees and now they're down to 800. Like it seems like it's not going to work out.
I think it was 1,600 down to about 850.
That's crazy. Okay, and my second question is, as someone who spent a lot of time playing Marathon, do you think it would be in Bungie's best interest to not drop support of Marathon, but also move most of their people to mainly work on Destiny 3, even though it's not in production right now?
No, I mean, I think that's the other thing, is people are saying like this is going to create like a wave of vitriol towards Marathon, because a lot of Destiny players see Marathon as the reason why Destiny is being it's not being taken offline. It's being put in hibernation, essentially. Like, it's not getting any more updates, which just
they're sunsetting it.
Yeah, just frankly isn't true. I've seen a ton of misinformation around this. The one thing you can say is that Marathon is a big reason for Destiny PvP not receiving a lot of updates, because a lot of those teams went to go work on Marathon. But the thing is, like, if you are a Destiny fan, it is in your best interest to support Marathon. I understand if the game isn't your cup of tea. Totally cool. But when you shit talk this game online, when you basically tell people that, like, it's a terrible game, it's not, but, like, do all these things to just say it's this piece of garbage, all you're doing is telling Sony that Bungie is worthless, we should absorb them, and you will never get a Destiny 3. Like, this is their project, and this is the thing that is giving value to Sony for them as a company. And, like, it is in your best interest to support Marathon, because Marathon will be the thing that eventually gives you Destiny 3 if you want it, or whatever Bungie's next project is. Like, the same way that when Halo ended, people were like, oh man, like, I'm gonna miss Bungie making Halo, like, that sucks. But, like, they still supported Bungie because they were fans of that studio. It's the same thing with Marathon and Bungie. Like, they are going to be the studio that gives you Destiny 3. No other studio is going to make that game. And if they do, it won't be Destiny. So it's like, it's in your best interest to just kind of like support them, say like, hey, you might want to go check out Marathon, you might want to try it. They actually had, I've seen some reports online that people have gone and tried it after the news with Destiny, which is good to see. But it's
Yep.
going to be at least 5 years if we're going to see another Destiny 3. Like, that's a big game. This is not like some tiny game that they can just throw together in a couple months. And by all reports, nothing has been greenlit yet, which I think is the most concerning part.
Yep.
Like, if you're a studio if you're looking forward to whatever Bungie does next, and it's literally only Marathon, that's the only part that I'm like, ooh, like, that's kind of rough. Like, you would hopefully have your next thing already be greenlit and at least in pre-production, but everything is still in the prototyping concept phase that Sony hasn't approved yet. And I read an article today from Paul Tassi of Forbes that basically said, like, PlayStation is just nervous that, like, the investment in a big MMO wouldn't pay off in 2031 or whenever this game would release, because you need to give it a properly long runway. And that's the reason that they haven't greenlit a Destiny 3 is they saw how sharply Destiny 2 tailed off after their purchase of Bungie. And quite frankly, they just don't have the trust in Bungie as a studio to properly shepherd, what would probably cost many, many hundreds of millions of dollars to ship their next project. And that's kind of, I think, where we find ourselves.
Crazy. They went from, Bungie went from Xbox to Activision to PlayStation, and it seems like it's been rocky ever since the release of Halo 3 with any other publishers. But then when Destiny came out, it kind of fixed itself. But now that they're with a new publisher, and it's just bad news bears. So hopefully they can get their shit fixed. Z, what do you think about this? What do you think about Bungie? Are you a big Destiny guy? Do you like Halo?
I was. I think one of my most played games is Destiny 1. Like, I played that thing, religiously when I was like in my teens. I loved that game so much. And then I was even there day one for Destiny 2. But then I did feel the quality drop off with Destiny 2. Like, it didn't hit. Maybe it was just me, but in the beginning, I think I stayed for like the first 2 years, and then after that, I just completely fell off Destiny 2. But it's still quite sad to see that, it's not going to get any more support. It didn't get the conclusion that, it deserved. Because when it comes to, storytelling, well, not necessarily storytelling, but like world building, art direction, bro, Bungie are good. Like Destiny, it looks so good. The lore is so rich. And it was
it's a fun damn game to play too,
Yeah, it's very fun. I love doing the raids, love doing the bounties, the exotics. It feels very weird to have seen that message. What was that tweet? Was that 2 days ago? Was it yesterday?
I think it was 2 days
I feel like
ago.
I've just been seeing so much bad stuff
Yeah.
for like the past month that it's just kind of like I don't remember what exactly the certain bad news came.
Some news popping up. But yeah, it's sad. I was even speaking to a friend like yesterday. He's a big fan. He loves Marathon, loves Bungie, everything they do. Loves Destiny 2. I was thinking maybe now that they're acquired by PlayStation, maybe they should try and dabble in a little bit of single player storytelling. Maybe that might help because I mean they do amazing quality cutscenes. They get good actors. They have good stories. Art direction, all of that. I think they can create a very big franchise if they were to focus on single player storytelling and then try to recoup some money. I don't know how the whole business works. I don't want to say too much. That's completely out of my sphere. But they could dabble in it.
I mean, I was talking to some
Well,
people.
Bungie.
My last thought on this. I think for Marathon, something that I think they could do now. Again, Z just, I guess, triggered that in my brain. I've been talking to a lot of people who have basically zero interest in Marathon as an extraction shooter. Again, totally understand it. I think if Bungie could greenlight, like, I don't know, call it a $20 supporter pack where you get like a skin for your favorite runner, and it comes with like a 6-hour campaign. Super high quality, looks gorgeous, great voice acting, good cutscenes. I think that could bring a lot of interest to Marathon in a way that, the same way that a lot of people fell in love with Destiny because of the campaigns and the sense of a world that they wanted to get immersed in, and that got them into Gambit,
Yeah, man.
Raids,
Yeah.
and Crucible and all this stuff. I could see the same thing for Marathon, where like you give them a taste of it, and maybe they want to go, the whole way. So yeah, we'll see, I guess.
Well, yeah, we will definitely see. I mean, they're still doing their thing. They're still open. They're still making Marathon. Bungie's been around forever, so I don't really see them going anywhere soon. So we'll just have to see what happens. Okay,
Yeah.
so next up, and our last topic before we jump into what we've been playing, is the Steam controller. So the Steam controller just recently released. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I got mine in the mail last week. You too, Matt, right?
Yeah, I think we got them on the same day.
Yeah, I think we did too. Yep. Like a week and a half after the sales went up. And I've been using it pretty much. It's replaced my DualSense Edge as my main on PC. But so here's the thing. I like the DualSense Edge more, but it just isn't as compatible with PC games, especially older ones. Like, if I open up something like earlier this year when I was playing my DualSense Edge and I was playing all the Arkham games, there was no PlayStation glyphs. But since I already know, the Xbox glyphs and all that, it wasn't that weird, but it still kind of, sucks not having the correct glyphs on screen when I'm using the controller. So that's kind of what pushed me more towards the Steam controller and using it, because it's a great controller. So I have them all right here. So here's the Steam controller next to the DualSense Edge. They're relatively the same size. This just has the trackpads, all the same buttons, and they all have the back buttons. The DualSense Edge, you can take them off. I keep them off because they don't feel good. But you got the back buttons right there. And I actually like the back buttons on the Steam controller more because of where my hand sits on it naturally. They're just right there. And when I would, use the back buttons on my DualSense Edge, I was holding it in like a weird way that didn't feel natural to my hand. So I wasn't ever using the back buttons. But now that when I hold it, they're right in the correct spot. I actually like them a lot, and I use them, put different macros on them and stuff like that. The touchpads are cool because one thing you can do is if you alt tab out of your game or whatever, you can use these trackpads right here to navigate your actual PC. So that would be cool for something like Steam big picture mode, or if you're just sitting far away and you're still just using Windows, you can just navigate like this with the trackpads like it's a mouse. It's not as good as a mouse because you kind of have to like move your finger a bunch to go instead of just kind of like, you have a mouse, you could just kind of drag it. The thumbsticks, that was probably the biggest thing that I thought the DualSense Edge had over this. These are still good. I think it's TPM thumbsticks. Am I right on that, Matt?
TMR.
What they're called?
I think it's
TMR. Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Something like that. But they're very smooth in the middle right here. So I kind of wasn't used to that at first because on the DualSense Edge, there's kind of like some grips. So my thumbs wouldn't move around too much and I could keep them centered right here rather than, I move my finger and then it's the lip right here that keeps my thumb still on it with the Steam controller. But I think the Steam controller is my main just because of the functionality. It goes better with PC, and I don't have to keep it wired to my PC. If I want to use the DualSense features, I have to have it wired, and it's not always completely compatible. So if I were to sum it up, I think they're both good controllers. I like the DualSense Edge a tiny bit more, but for my use case of using it on PC, I think the Steam controller is just what matters more to me because it has all the features that go with my system. Good controller, good buttons. I have no issues with anything. Everything feels really good in my hands. Like I said, the back buttons, the back triggers feel good. And then you just charge it by throwing it right on the puck right here. Where did I put my puck? And it just magnetizes right on like that. So, yeah, it's a good controller for PC. I think if you're going to be a PC gamer, I think the Steam controller is the move. But if you're used to something like Xbox, then just stick with that. What do you got to say about it, Maddie?
I mean, I think it's probably. I've had terrible luck with Xbox controllers. First of all, back when I was playing a lot more competitive FPS, I still play a lot of them, but a lot more. And I swapped to the Xbox Elite. I had 6 of them break on me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so how the bumpers function on an Xbox controller, it's essentially a piece of plastic that is bending every single time you press it, which depresses the sensor, and that piece of plastic just breaks all the time. Especially when you're playing a lot of games where, like, in competitive FPS, your bumpers are usually like your grenades or your tactical uses, so you can imagine you're using them constantly, and they break because they're not springs or whatever. So I swapped to I've used SCUF controllers. That was when I started using PlayStation 5 controllers mostly. I like them a lot. but they're very expensive. I tried Battle Beaver controllers, kind of the same thing. And then I got my DualSense Edge, and that's been my go-to. Number one, because you can swap out the thumbsticks if they get stick drift, so you never have to worry about that. It's like $20, way cheaper than buying a new controller. And I don't even have stick drift on the one that I have now, and I've been using that for about a year and a half. It feels very weighty. I like the paddles; they're very sensitive, and it's really nice.
Mhm.
Using them for jumping and climbing and mantling and doing all that kind of stuff. And obviously the haptics are great. The Steam controller, I think the two main benefits are with the thumbsticks that you mentioned, you'll never get stick drift. They use like a magnetic receptacle, so there's no physical connection that can wear out over time. So essentially, you'll never get stick drift. Number two, great battery life. The Edge
Yes.
is awful. Like it's like 3 hours or 2 hours.
It is.
It's terrible. And this one is like 35. So and because you basically charge it every time you're done, you just throw it on that puck. You essentially never have to worry about it. And the controller just feels really good in hand. Like I like the feedback on the trackpads. I don't have a Steam Deck, so that was new to me. Really like that. The triggers and the bumpers feel really nice. For me personally, I won't use it for competitive games because where my fingers sit on them, the buttons just don't feel good. I'm used to using, I'm used to the buttons sitting slightly lower or slightly higher on the controller, and so the buttons are very low and they're very heavy. Like they're true buttons, so you need to like click it. Whereas like on a lot of competitive controllers, it's more of like a very sensitive trigger that you just tap, and this is very much a button. So if you're interested in it for competitive games, I'd probably stay away. That's just a personal opinion, though. You could try it. But for $100 and being the only PC controller you would need outside of competitive games, I think it's a no-brainer. You're never going to get stick drift. You should never have to replace that. Battery life is great. Like Fume said, you can use it to navigate if you're far away from your PC, if you're using a PC in your family room or your living room, it's great for that. All those kind of things. I think it's awesome. Also, the screaming thing is really funny.
Did you try that? Did it work for you? I never tried it. I'm too scared.
I didn't realize you needed to be in big picture mode, but if you're in big picture mode and you drop it, it does the Wilhelm scream. It's really funny.
So that's probably why people weren't getting it when they were dropping, because they weren't in big picture mode, and then some people were. Okay, that makes sense. I didn't know that.
Did you see the meme online where like if you like circle the trackpads, it does like the moan?
No. What are they doing with this controller, man?
It doesn't actually, but I saw that meme online and I thought it was hilarious. I thought they should have included that.
That is so funny.
So funny. Oh man. Ugh.
What did you did you talk about the back buttons? Did you say that you didn't like them too much?
Yeah. I said it's just the positioning. On the DualSense Edge, the back buttons are slightly higher and they take a lot less pressure to depress. And so that's really nice. Which
I tried showing it, but I don't have my back buttons in them.
Yeah.
I took them out. I never liked the back buttons in the Edge or the Elite controller 2. They just didn't feel good to me.
And you also you don't have trigger stops on the Steam controller, so just another reason it's not that great for competitive FPS games or competitive games.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
For single player.
So would you say all in all, great controller?
I would say so. I mean, even for things like Civ and stuff where you need more of a mouse, you can still use it because of the trackpads, which I think is great.
Yep. I think for PC gaming, I think right now it seems like the Xbox controllers are the main. I feel like it's gonna evolve into the Steam controller becoming the main, because I feel like it has a little bit more features, and you never know with Xbox. You never know if they're gonna do something crazy. Like, I don't like what they did with the Xbox Series controllers to the Xbox One controller. So the Xbox One controllers were, bigger and fatter, and I don't have massive hands, but it just felt more comfortable. And they did something to the Series controller kind of by the triggers where they like pushed it in.
Yeah.
So now when I'm like holding it, my fingers are like touching each other in the back, and it's just awkward. So I was just like, shit. So that's when I decided to switch over to the DualSense, and I was just like, it's just such a better controller. I actually had a regular DualSense, and I got stick drift after 7 months, and I was like, nah, I'm not dealing with that. So I just got the Edge because I can't you take these out and replace them?
Yeah,
The
about a
plate comes
$20
off.
replacement.
Yeah. See, that's so much cheaper than a fucking $90 controller.
Yeah.
What do you use, Z? Do you use the DualSense Edge or just the regular DualSense?
Yeah, I just use the regular DualSense Edge. Oh, not
And you haven't
Edge,
got any
regular
like
DualSense.
stick drift?
I have actually. I actually got it for the first time since I've got my PS5 like last year. But I managed to open it up, clean it a little bit, blow on it,
And that
replace the
fixed it.
battery. Yeah, I think it did. Or like to a degree where I don't really notice it.
Cool. All right. So the Steam controller, it's a good controller. If you're a PC gamer, it sounds like that should be the controller for you.
Mhm.
All right. So let's move on to what we've been playing. Maddie, do you want to start this one for us?
It's been 3 weeks since our last podcast.
There's been a lot, probably.
Yeah, what have I beaten? First off, I beat Mortal Shell. That was on the list that I wanted to beat
Nice.
before the sequel. It's fine. I liked it, but like on the broad scale of things, it definitely felt like a proof of concept more than like a full game. It's very short. Like if I didn't get absolutely like beaten over the head in the first area, I probably would have beat it in like 7 hours. But I thought this was gonna be the first Souls game to skill check me because God bless my fiance because she was like, "You need to put down this game. You are getting far too upset at what's happening." And I was like, "You're probably right, dude." I was in the tutorial area and I died 46 times, and I was like, "What am I doing wrong?" Like it was so bad.
Was it because you weren't hardening or like blocking attacks with the hardening skill?
I wasn't using the harden. I had no healing items. I didn't find any of the other shells, like all this other stuff. Um, I didn't understand how the parry worked. It was just a mess. But now that I've beaten it, I do think it's pretty solid. I think the bosses are fairly simple. It reminded me a lot of the Demon Souls remake. It's very heavy. I know
Yes.
a lot of people play Dark Souls and Demon Souls at like a lower equip weight, and it's been a conversation when I posted about it. Like the game actually isn't that heavy. I agree, but like how most people play the game is like with a heavier equip load, and it kind of feels like that medium roll kind of speed. It's a very like it's my turn to attack, enemy's turn to attack kind of thing. Um, the aesthetic really good. I think the art is great. The armor sets look cool, but it's just very light on content overall. Like there's what 5 main bosses.
It is.
Yeah, 5 main bosses, 4 weapons. Not a lot of items, not a lot of story, not a lot of lore. But I'm hoping, seeing the clips from Mortal Shell 2, it seems like they really took that idea and just fleshed it out a ton, which I'm totally down for. Because like I said, I did enjoy it. It just felt very short, and like I wanted them to do more with it, you know.
Which shell did you use and which weapon did you mainly use?
I used Eridim, just because I like the
yeah, he was the tank.
Yeah, the beefier playstyle in Souls games. And I just used the main great sword that you got, not the big one, like just the first sword that you get.
Did you ever get the Xtra?
What now?
So when Mortal Shell released, I think there was like 4 weapons and 4 shells.
Yeah.
And then they released the DLC, the Virtuous Cycle, which is their roguelike mode. And when they released that, they also released another shell and another weapon with that shell, and the weapon's called the Xtra. So it's a weapon that can be either an axe or a katana, and that's the special ability, is to switch between the two. And I just thought it was so cool to have an axe and a katana. Actually, I thought I was going to use the katana more, but the axe was way more powerful and had a more versatile move set. But it was just a cool weapon that they added. I don't remember how you get it. So maybe you had to like play the Virtuous Cycle and then it would appear in your inventory, which I don't think you didn't play the Virtuous Cycle, did you?
No, I think I'm gonna go back and
you just wanted to prepare.
Yeah, just before Mortal Shell 2 releases, I'll do that. So yeah, it was decent. I also have been playing some Gotham Knights. Fine. Like again, these are just games that I think it's semi-important to like kind of play games that other people are like, oh, this is underwhelming, or it wasn't that great. Just because I think it recalibrates your senses over like what a good game should be. And then when you go and you play these incredible games, you're like, yeah, this is really good because I just played something that was not this good. A couple things that Gotham Knights does really well. Art direction, super strong. Gotham looks really good. The lighting is really good. The character designs are good. Those things it does really well. Unfortunately for this game, it came out like a couple years after Arkham Knight, and it just isn't Arkham Knight. Like, I think a lot of people just assumed it would take the gameplay from those games and move it into something else. It's not. It's entirely different. The combat is a lot slower.
Yep.
Less good. There's a gear system. Like all these kinds of things. It still runs
Horrible.
At 30, yeah, it still runs at 30 FPS on consoles. No idea why.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I would say it feels like they took like a CW show, or one of those older Cartoon Network shows, and put those into like a video game. It's fine. I'll write a review for it and kind of move on. And then the other game that I've been playing, as you can see here, shout out Z, when we were talking about him coming on the podcast, and I was telling him that I haven't played a Rockstar
Yes, sir.
game. He was like, you gotta play GTA 5 before 6 comes out. And I was like...
Wait, you haven't played any Rockstar games?
No.
Brother, you gotta at least play Red Dead 2. Like, oh
Yeah,
my
I
god.
told him.
But
Dude.
I was like, I feel like at the very...
Dude, Red
That's
Dead
the
2
first-
is one of the best games ever.
I
Mhm.
needed to start with GTA
Yeah.
because it's like that's the one that's coming out, you know, like I gotta see where we came from. So I've booted it up, and this game, I was telling Z, I feel like it's underrated, which feels crazy.
It is. It is.
Just from the fact that like I feel like Red Dead 2 came out and everybody just like forgot about GTA 5. Like I hardly see anybody talking about it, and like fair enough, it came out in 2013, but like as someone who's never played a Rockstar game before, coming and playing GTA 5, like the game still looks really good. I think the story and like the world that they created is
You know what I
super
think
fun.
the issue is? It just
Go ahead.
I was you kind of blocked out for a second, so I thought you were letting me say something. But I think the main issue is when it comes to like what you were saying about GTA is GTA Online is kind of just like the popular part of GTA 5. So I feel like a lot of people don't even focus on GTA 5 story anymore because at this point it's 13 years old and GTA Online is still getting new content. So that's like the main thing that people focus on with GTA. So I totally get what you mean by like it's underrated.
Yeah, like it's as someone who lives in California, it does such a good job of like parodying parodying
Yeah.
yeah, like LA culture and like all of these things that people who live in California are like, yeah, like I know exactly what this is trying to say and do. And it's so good from that perspective of like it's this arcadey, goofy, wild, like almost drug fueled like frenzy. And I'm like, this is so fun. Like it's just yeah, it's just so good in that sense. I'm having a great time. I'm not that far in. I'm about 20% done if the save files are anything to go by.
It's a long game, man.
So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I would say anybody who is hesitant about going and playing GTA 5, if you'd only gotten into Rockstar with like Red Dead 2 or something, it definitely holds up, and it's definitely still worth playing as the single player game in 2026. And I'm now even more excited for GTA 6.
So after GTA 5, are you going to go play Red Dead Redemption 2? Because I totally think you should.
I think
like immediately after. It's that good.
I think the plan right now is GTA 5, Lords of the Fallen, or sorry, GTA 5, 007, Lords of the Fallen, and
Okay.
then if I'm hoping to get to Red Dead 1 and 2 by the end of the summer, but I mean, let's be honest, like stuff could happen. But I want to play those two like back to back at some point not before GTA 6, but like at some point I want to play them together and just to see what's up with that.
Yes. Yeah, and you'll obviously start with Red Dead 1 because it's the order of release. Technically, it's a sequel to Red Dead 2, but you want to have the story of Red Dead 1 because it does so many callbacks in Red Dead 2, and not really callbacks, but like setups for what you're going to see in the future. Yeah.
I just always think release orders are better
Fantastic
to play
games.
games too, because it's like you get a sense of how things were set up, and like I'm assuming that Red Dead 1 would be told differently if it actually came out after Red Dead 2. and the fact that it came out
Yeah, oh yeah,
before,
100%.
it's written and portrayed in a certain way that for that time, that was what they had in mind when they were writing it. Yeah.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts when you finally play those games. Like, when it comes to Rockstar, I way more love Red Dead because I much prefer the cowboy aesthetic to just the modern day. Like, I live in the fucking modern day. I know what it's like. It's cool to run around and shoot shit, and obviously Rockstar has their funny humor, but I'm not living like a fucking cowboy. I want to role play as a cowboy and live in that life because it's just so cool, and like the stories and Rockstar's kind of like random event structure that they do is just so awesome. Like, I can't wait for you to play it. I'm not going to spoil anything or talk about it more, but you're going to love Red Dead when you finally play those games. They're awesome. Cool. Z, what have you been playing, man? Or did I go too fast?
No, you're good.
My bad.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so currently I've been playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Yes.
Uh,
Amazing game.
I'm trying to get that out of the way before 007. I've just finished the Order of the Giants. So I accidentally started it because I'm currently in the Vatican. And I thought it
That
was a
makes
side
sense.
quest. And then I went into the villa and I saw the title card and I was like, oh snap, what? I just started the DLC. But I done some research and apparently the DLC takes part in within the same time of the main story.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like during the Vatican part. So I was like, okay, cool. It doesn't really interfere with the story. And it was really good. It was enjoyable. I love the final boss fight. I do feel like it ended a bit abruptly,
Yeah.
the DLC. Like after he gets have you played it, Fume? The
Yes.
Order of the
Yeah.
Giant.
I got the platinum for the game.
The game, yeah. After he got the dagger, it just kind of ended. I was like, oh, okay, well. But it was really good. The twist with the what was his name? The father.
I forget, but I know who you're
Yeah,
talking about.
Father Ricky or something, Richie, something like that. The twist, I was like, oh snap, okay, I didn't see that coming. And yeah, no, currently I'm still in the Vatican. I'm trying to clean up a little bit because I also want to get the platinum for it. It's a
Yep.
really good. Troy Baker again. I mean, I glaze Troy Baker all the time, man. Like yesterday, I was listening to like a compilation of his voice lines and then Harrison Ford, and I was like, holy crap, this guy killed it, man.
Sounds exactly the same, dude. I couldn't fucking believe it. It was
Exactly,
insane.
exactly, man. I was like, how does someone do that? I knew he had range, but something like that is different, you know? Like
Like, he
that's just fantastic.
straight up sounds like Harrison Ford. It's kind of
Exactly.
scary because it's just like, is this actually Troy Baker or is this Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford, yeah. He's great. Unfortunately, Matt, you might kill me for saying this, but I dropped Returnal. I just oh yeah, you're into like that game as well for you, right? You wanted to play Cyrus.
Yeah, I
It's
love
just
Returnal. I thought it was fantastic.
yeah. I Do you know what? I was enjoying it, but it was like I just don't have the patience for those type
Fair.
of games. Like, even with like Elden Ring, you would not catch me doing a melee build because I'll just die too much and get annoyed. So my first playthrough of Elden Ring, I was magic. I put the like Terra Magica thing down. I'd drink my Estus flask that gave me infinite HP, and I would cast the Comet Azure and like blitz through the bosses. And that's like I just love that power fantasy type of thing.
That's a good way to
And
do it.
yeah, people would always tell me like they'll say, oh, you're using magic. That's not how to play the game, but who the hell cares? I enjoyed it. Maybe I'll get back to it someday. When I have a bit more patience. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it sucks when you die and you lose all your progress.
yeah, just going all the
Yeah.
way back and then seeing her wake up on the ship. I'm like, oh my god, again.
It's like, what did I do with my past hour and a half of time?
Exactly. And I just died to some BS. It wasn't even a boss. It was a random, like I just fell into like a hole, and there was a boss that I wasn't expecting, and it just cooks me, and I'm just like, I can't take this anymore. And I'm like
the moment to
playing
moment
San
gameplay.
Andreas. Sorry?
I just love the moment to
Yes,
moment
it does feel
gameplay.
good.
Yeah, and so like it never felt um like I wasted time because I wasn't approaching it from like I need to beat this, or if I didn't make progress, I didn't hate it.
Mm.
I was like, I'll just do another run. Like, what am I gonna get this time? And like now I'll just go back and play Returnal. I'll play Saros and I'll start it Biome 1. I'll be like, I got 2 hours and I'll just go beat the game. Like again and again and again and again and again. Because I like the moment to moment gameplay is that good.
What made it easy for me to jump back into Returnal is, like you said, the moment to moment gameplay is really good, and the pace is so fast. Like you move so fast, the dashing, the way you get everything that it's kind of almost like, in 15 minutes you can get another good build to go try again. But if you're not into, having to completely get a new build every single time, then it's just not going to be for you. It's going to be a little frustrating. I can't remember. In Saros, there's more like permanent upgrades you get from run to run, but in Returnal, there's not as many.
Yes. Yeah. I
Am
mean,
I right about that? Okay.
yeah, in Saros, it's like it gets to a point where like if you fill out the skill tree, which is gated by beating certain bosses, it's pretty hard to die at some points. Like I would say that was my biggest disappointment with the game is like Returnal always felt like I had to be like trying and locked into what I was doing, whereas Saros, when I beat the game and I went back and did like a 0 to hero from biome 1 to the end, like I was basically my brain was off by the final boss because I was just like an absolute tank, just destroying
Mm-hmm.
everything. And that was, it just different
Muscle
games.
memory.
Yeah, just different games for sure. But I get it. I know that's why a lot of people bounced off Returnal and why Saros has been uh, clicking with a lot more people instead.
Yeah. Z, I kind of hijacked that from you. So you dropped Returnal. What else you got going on? Is it just Indiana Jones right now?
Sort of. That's like my main focus. I'm trying to change. I'm trying to like just like focus on one game at a time. Because sometimes I find myself and just first time on Indiana Jones, I'm just like, let me go on San Andreas. Let me go on Metro. So now I just want to focus in on Indiana Jones. But because I'm like also trying to get the platinum from San Andreas, every now and then I'll just click on it, try to do a few side activities, and then get off. But my main focus is Indiana Jones right now. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, what I like to do if I'm playing multiple games is I'll have two. I won't play more than two games. I'll
Mm.
have a game I'm playing on my PC, and then I'll have a separate game that I'm playing on my Steam Deck, so I can kind of like bounce between the two, get different, so I'm not getting burnt out of just hammering down on one game at a time. I feel like it
Yeah.
adds a good variation. Do you have a PlayStation Portal?
No, I don't. But I do have a Switch.
So you could, yeah, I feel like it would be nice, if you had a PS Portal and the Switch, you could play something else on that and then come to your PlayStation. You have a totally different game. But that's just
Yeah.
how I do it.
All right, sounds good.
All right. So what I have been playing one game. I have been playing Lego Batman. I actually got the early edition copy, so I got to play 3 days early. I've already beaten it. So what I was describing it to people at the start was I was calling it a Diet Arkham game, but I feel like the diet calling it a Diet Arkham game kind of has like a negative connotation with it. So I've been referring to it as Arkham Light now because it's a Lego game. It's more for they want to get children involved. They want to introduce young kids to Batman, and it's more of a family friendly thing, but it's pretty much just an Arkham game, but it's just dumbed down a little bit. The combat's not as extreme, the stealth isn't as extreme. It takes pretty much everything from the Arkham games, it just dials them down a little bit to be a little bit more simpler to fit the Lego aesthetic. Now, when it comes to the story of the game, it kind of mashes just so much different Batman content. They'll mash Batman, the animated series, or it'll mash Batman Forever, which is the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he is actually, they base Mr. Freeze off that rendition of Arnold Schwarzenegger's from the movie, and it's actually pretty funny. They try to give him like his accent and stuff. So pretty much the story, it just follows all these different Batman stories and it jumbles them together. And it's kind of just like a love letter to all the Batman games. Just jumble them up. This is what it is. And it's just like I'm playing. I'm just like, oh, I know that one. Oh, I know that one. Oh, I know that one. So if you've played any of the Arkham games and you just consume Batman content, this is just like a really good, fun, easy to play love letter to Batman. And if you're a huge Batman fan, I think it's a no-brainer to just get this game. And one thing about it too is the Arkham games, the side content with the Riddler trophies and all that, it's still there in this game, but it's like cut into like a fourth. Like I think there's only like 120 Riddler trophies compared to something like, I don't know, Arkham City where there was like maybe 400, maybe
400 or
maybe
500.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, it's not,
Arkham
it's
is
not as
it
much as that?
is
Arkham
is it
Arkham
like
City
200?
was like like I think around the same. Um, but Arkham Knight is the insane one. It has like 270 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not insane like that. So it's not. So if you're going for the platinum, you're not going to be ripping your hair out and going through all these Arkham VR challenges and crazy stuff like that. It's just you do the main story, and then it's just side content is all collectibles. I don't think there's any like side villain stories. I haven't found any of those yet. I found all the side content in the main world is just getting different suits, getting studs, and getting different collectibles just to get currency for the shop to get more costumes. But to sum it up, if you're a Batman fan, Lego Batman is definitely a game for you. Blends all the stories together, a bunch of different suits. There's 7 different characters to play as. They don't have Red Hood, which I don't like. He's besides Batman, he is my second favorite character because I just love him being an anti-hero and going against Batman, in a way, and he kills the criminals and it just makes it for like a darker story. Like I love the did you guys play the DLC in Arkham Knight?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Red Hood one was so fun just playing as him because his combat was awesome and he was just so rude and killing and violent, and it was just a different from playing as Batman and all the other Bat crew. So I hope in the DLC that they release a Red Hood character because I really want to play as him and see their rendition of him in Lego. So if you're a Batman fan, pick up Lego Batman. It's great.
Can I just say,
Sounds good.
I hate this new like deluxe edition, get 24-hour, get 30, get 48, get 72.
3 days early access for everyone else.
Yeah.
What was Forza Horizon, like
I
5
was,
days? Oh my gosh. I was like, dude,
Something crazy, man.
holy
I'm
shit,
literally
that's
getting
crazy.
people like posting that they've played the game and like beaten the game before like anyone can even like not anyone before like normal purchasers can just buy it. I'm like, this is so like, are we
Yep.
serious? Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
I
hate
beat
it,
Lego
hate it.
Batman before it even got released to the public. I beat it in the 3-day early access. So like that's crazy. I totally get what you mean by that.
The one that I do
All
like
right, so
is James Bond is doing like a automatic deluxe upgrade if you pre-order it, and what comes along with that is getting 24 hours early access. I'm I'm kind of okay with that. I'm like, okay, people pre-order it, they're putting up their money early, like anyone can do it, and then you'll get free early access essentially, which I think if I'm gonna be okay with it, that's about as close as I could get.
yeah, I thought that was cool because I went to go purchase 007 and I like to buy deluxe editions because it's just I like the extra content sometimes, and I was just like, oh, there's only one version, but if you buy it early, you get the deluxe edition content. So I mean that made it very easy to do it because it's the same price if you buy it, now or afterwards, and it's going to be a good game. IO Interactive Hitman was phenomenal, so I have faith in them here. Everything I've seen about 007 looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing, man.
Yep.
It's
I
pretty
haven't
good.
played a 007 since the GameCube one, and that was like a first person weird one. And I don't even remember what it was called. There were so many 007 and GoldenEye back in the day on Nintendo 64.
What is your guys' predictions for the Metacritic scores?
Oh,
Somewhere in the 80s. I'm thinking mid 80s. I think
I,
I don't really know. This is just the complete guess because I haven't got my hands on it to really play it, but everything I've seen looks like a pretty mid to high 80s game with the quality of what I've seen.
I think if it manages to nail the set pieces, and I think the overall story is good as well, I'm going for high 80s, maybe low 90s. Because I think, one, just the name, the little bias from being a James Bond game, I think that might help. Being a blend of Hitman and then also having that essence of Uncharted, I think, and then also like the freedom to approach the objectives differently. I think people are gonna enjoy it and they might like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know I've got quite a strong feeling about the game. But then again, I thought the Lego Batman game would get like 90, but it didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, but hey,
Yeah,
still a good
it's
game, right?
I'm thinking like 86 is what I'll put my projection at. I think what's gonna happen is because a lot of the previews have said it's kind of like Hitman Light. I think a lot of the previewers are going to be wanting more Hitman and less Uncharted, and it sounds like it's more
Mm,
Uncharted and less Hitman. And I think that's going to work against it because people are
mm,
just wanting more of that sandboxy feel. when this seems to be much more of that linear set piece driven kind of thing. So we'll see. That's my take.
Yeah. I hope there's like a bunch of like I feel like what's gonna really make this game shine is like the cool, like what Z was saying, the cool big action set pieces. Like big explosion happens. You're like in a crazy car chase now. You go off side of a mountain, you parachute, just crazy shit that James Bond would do. That's gonna be
Yeah.
super prominent in order to make it stick. So and from what I've seen, it's already there. So I have a strong feeling this game's gonna come out and do gangbusters.
I hope the set pieces aren't underwhelming. From one of the shots that I saw, or the sequences, the one in the vehicles just look very slow, which I you wouldn't expect. You'd want it to be in a very high octane and fast. It just looked a bit slow. But then again, it was a garbage truck. But like it was a garbage, and like, but you could see he would like he would drive and he would hit another vehicle, but the speed at which he was approaching the vehicle did not like warrant the way the vehicle would get hit. You could tell it was a very heavily scripted, and it just didn't match. But hopefully they fixed that
So it's like the
before.
physics didn't make sense when you were looking at it.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess only if you're really scrutinizing the game would you notice that. But I
Well,
noticed it. I guess I was
I
heavily
will
scrutinizing
say
it.
that's something that Uncharted 4 did so well is like you wouldn't realize you were about to enter a cutscene until everything like they somehow made it click into place without player input like being too big of a factor. If I'm explaining that correctly, like a lot of the
Mm,
set pieces that people like to show off online, it's
Mm-hmm.
like I like this feels entirely player controlled, but really it's Naughty Dog like railroading the player into this without even realizing it. Like that's the cool
yeah.
thing. Like Nathan Drake will do stuff like jumping from car to car, and like the car is way too far away, but somehow they do like some movie magic where like the car magically gets closer and it doesn't break your brain. You're like, oh shoot, like it actually worked. Like that's crazy. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Mm.
You know who's really good at setting up set pieces like that is Sony. Because you said Uncharted, and I'm thinking about all the different set pieces in Uncharted 4, like especially when I think this is Uncharted 4 when Nathan Drake is holding onto a rope and he's getting swung and you're just on the ground
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're like following this truck and it's going through all these different, tunnels and corners and stuff, and you're just trying to like maneuver around while hanging onto a rope. And then there's the I think it was Spider-Man 2 when you were like going through the like under the bridge in the water getting pulled around. I forget which villain was doing that, but just
Oh,
these big
Lizard in Spider-Man
yes,
2.
yes,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep. Just these big
That was
set pieces where it's just like a lot of explosions. There's a lot of story stuff going on too, and it's
mm,
just like a movie almost. Sony is very
they're
good
so
at
good at
making
doing it.
movie like cutscenes, and I feel like that we're
Yeah,
gonna get some of that in 007.
yeah.
Cool. I think that's the end of our docket. So you guys cool with ending the show here?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It's been
Yeah.
about 2 hours, so cool. Well, thank you for joining us. This was episode 4 of the XP Extra Player podcast. Maddie, I'm gonna let you start. Lead us out.
Uh, Bye, everybody. You can find me at It's Matt Ghosty on X or Twitter, or also at Life is a Game magazine, pretty much everywhere. Or it might be like at Life is a Game mag. We also post a bunch of reviews, op-eds, and stuff like that. If that's more your speed. So thanks for tuning in. See, what about you?
Cool.
Oh, is it me now? Me?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Where can we
Well, yeah,
find you?
guys. Yeah. As I'm, you can find me on X or no Twitter. I'm not gonna say X. On at ZWiz, and that's ZIIWIZZ. I mainly yap about whatever I'm excited for. I'm pretty sure the version of me I showed here is not what you're gonna see on my Twitter page. But I promise I'm still sane and friendly. Drop by. I pretty much love any type of game. I enjoy anything. But yeah, that's been me, man.
Yeah, we had some good gaming talks. I thought fantastic guests. So thank you for coming on the
Thank
show.
you. Thank you.
You
A
can find
pleasure. It's
me
an honor.
at Fume Gaming 95 and on my YouTube at Fume Gaming. So thank you guys so much, and we will be back in a couple weeks to talk about these summer showcase shows.